Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Welcome to Unit 3. Today we're going to look at four different sets of academic English vocabulary. They are coincide, analogous, affect, and ambiguity. Now, let's have a look at the first word. The first word is coincide. It's a verb and it means to happen at or near the same time. Synonyms include concur, co-occur, and synchronize. And here's how you pronounce the word coincide. 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 Here are some example sentences of the word coincide. Number 1. My birthday coincided with our trip to Barcelona. Number 2. The concert coincided with my cousin's wedding. Now, let's take a look at the morphological derivations for the word coincide. The first word is coincidence. Coincidence is a noun, and it means an occasion when two or more similar things happen at the same time, especially in a way that is unlikely and surprising. Secondly, we have an adjective, coincident, which means existing or happening at the same place or time. And here is the collocation for the word coincide. Normally, when we use the word coincide, we always add the word with behind it. Now, let's take a look at the second word of today's unit. The second word is analogous. It is an adjective and it means similar in some way to another thing or situation and therefore or able to be compared with it. Now, I want you all to look at the colors here. Are they similar? Yes, they are. So they can be compared to each other. That means all of these colors are analogous to each other. Some synonyms include similar, alike, and parallel. And here's how you pronounce the word analogous. 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 Here are some examples of the sentences for the word analogous. Number 1. Sleep has often been thought of as being in some way analogous to death. Number 2. Could an analogous behavior occur in animals? And let's take a look at some morphological derivations for the word analogous. First of all, we have analog, which is a noun. It means something that is similar to or can be used instead of something else. Secondly, we have analogy, which is also a noun, and it means a comparison between things that have similar features, often used to help explain a principle or an idea. And here's a collocation for the word analogous. Typically, we use the word analogous plus the word to when we are using the word in a sentence. Now, let's take a look at the third word for today's unit. And the word is affect. Affect is a verb and it means to have an influence on someone or something, or to cause a change in someone or something. Let's take a look at these pendulum balls for example. As you can see, this one here is happy while the others are sad. But if you knock the happy one to the sad ones there, they would also be happy. Because it's just like if you are talking to people in a sad mood, people around you would also feel sad. But if you're talking to people in a happy mood, people around you would also feel happy. Here are some synonyms for the word affect. They are influence, impact, and concern. Okay, so here's how you pronounce the word affect. 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 Here are some example sentences of how you would use the word affect. Number 1. The divorce affected every aspect of her life. Number 2. The quality and health of the soil directly affects the quality and health of the plants. And here are some examples of morphological derivation of the word affect. Number 1. We have affective, which is an adjective and it means connected with emotions and attitudes. And we have another adjective that's derived from affect, which is affectionate. It means showing feelings of liking or love. Here are some collocations of the word affect. Normally, we would use the word affect and by. So we would say like someone is affected by something. And number 2, we use affect after an adverb, like adversely affects in the second example here. Now, here are some things to look out for when you are using the word affect. If you want to say something affects something else, you don't add the word on after the word affect. So you say something affects your health. You don't say something affects on your health. That's not how you say it. And also, the word affect is not to be confused with another similar sounding word, effect. There are two meanings for the word effect, a noun and a verb. First of all, let's look at the noun. The noun for effect means the result of a particular influence. You can use on this context because that's like the result of what happens to smoking in the sentence here. And for the verb, it means to achieve something and cause it to happen. However, this is quite rare and formal. Alright, let's take a look at the final word for today's unit. The word is ambiguity. It is a noun and it means an example of the fact of something having more than one possible meaning and therefore causing confusion. Synonyms include uncertainty, vagueness, and puzzle. And here's how you pronounce the word ambiguity. 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 Here are some example sentences of the word ambiguity. There is some ambiguity in the Bible story, and it has been interpreted in different ways. Number 2. Languages composed from many diverse sources contain much ambiguity and inconsistency. Let's take a look at some morphological derivations for the word ambiguity. First of all, we have an adjective, ambiguous, which means having or expressing more than one possible meaning, sometimes intentionally. Secondly, we have an adverb, which is derived from the adjective above, ambiguously, which means in a way that may not be understood, as there is more than one possible meaning. Now let's take a look at the collocation for the word ambiguity. Typically, we use ambiguity in front of a preposition, like ambiguities in, for example. And secondly, we would always use the word avoid in front of ambiguity, like in order not to confuse someone. So that's it for today's unit. Thank you very much, and I hope you learned something new.